Okay, now my student, we are proceeding looking on the types of the type C of nastic movement. We have already seen about 3 types C of the nastic movement, and now we are going to proceed on where we end on the last session. on the last part of this session. So now we have another kind of nastic movement, and this is called the photonasty movement. So what is this photonasty? Here we are saying that this is the movement of a plant party in the response to a stimuli. So hapa tunaongelea the movement of a plant part in the response of a stimuli. So our stimuli is a light. So the plant will remove, the part of a plant will move into the direction of into the direction of the light. A plant part. It can be either root, it can be either stem, or it can be either a branch of the tree or a branch of that plant. So pale ambapo ule mti unakuwa unaenda uelekeo wa mwanga. Sasa hiyo ndio tunaita kinds of nastic movement, that is photonasty. So for instance, some flowers or leaves are folded. Tunasema kwamba for instance, some flower or leaves fold following the sunshine, or the opening and the closing of the flower depending on the weather. It is a day or it is a night. Kwa tuna baadhi ya mimea. For example, we have sunflower. It is responding for the presence of light. Na ndio maana ukiangalia zile sunflower nyingi, ile mimea jamii ya alizeti, inavyo chanua inaenda uelekeo wa sun, kwa maana kwamba kwenye sun ndipo ambapo kunakuwa na production of the light. So that is, we can say that that plant, that is a sunflower, it is respond to the light stimuli. But not only that, here we have seen that we have a sunflower. They close when there is an absence of a light. Pale ambapo panakuwa hamna uwepo wa mwanga, unakuta ile mmea inajifunga au yale maua yanakuwa yanajifunga. Lakini when there is a presence of light, you can see that the flower, it is open up their petals. So we're going to see this in the figure 4.38. As you can see here, this is the nastic movement of a flower, whereby A here, we can say that during a day the flowers open. Lakini during a night, now you can see the flower closes. So this flower, they respond to the light stimuli. Since here, during a day, now you can see the flower has opened up their petal. But while during a night, this flower, they close their petal. Why? This is kind of plant, they respond to the presence of a light. So their stimulus is a light. So that is a photonasty movement. And also we have another kind of the nastic movement, and this is seismonasty. That is seismonasty. So we have to know what is this seismonasty and an example of it. So seismonasty, we can say that this is the movement of a plant part in the response to touch. So this movement of a plant in the response to touch. So we have a seismonastic movement is also known as a thigmonastic movement. So pale ambapo mti au tunasema kwamba if this a plant is being touched, au ukigusa tu huo mti unakuwa una respond. A good example of this plant, you can take an example, Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica ni ile mimea ambayo ukigusa tu yenyewe, ukigusa their leaves, they shrink, au tunasema kwamba zinasinyaa. Why? Is due to the presence that this organism, they are responding to touch. So if you touch these organisms, probably they shrink their leaves so that it can protect themselves. So now here you can see that an example of the seismonastic movement. Before that, I have to give you hints that if you have been told to define what is the thigmonastic movement, the same as the seismonastic movement. So other name of seismonastic, it is called the thigmonastic movement. So now let's see the example. An example of seismonastic movement is the folding of the leaves of the Mimosa pudica in the response to touch. So the folding of the leaves of the Mimosa pudica is a good example of the thigmonastic movement, whereby this organism, they respond to the touching of any organism. So if you touch the leaves of this Mimosa pudica, they tend to fold their leaves, so that it can protect their leaves healthy. And now we're going to see this figure on we're going to see the figure of Mimosa pudica on the figure 4.39. So, and this one is the figure 4.39. That is the nastic movement of the leaflet of the Mimosa pudica. As you can see, this one is the Mimosa pudica. Lakini when this Mimosa pudica is touched by an organism, it tends to fold up their leaves. So hii ndio tunasema kwamba this plant, they are responding to thigmonastic movement, or we can say that seismonastic movement. So that is the kind of nastic movement. But generally, we can say that nastic movement can result from changes in the tagger or growth rate between the different sides of the plant part. So tunaweza tukasema kwamba this nastic movement in general, it responds to the tagger or the growth rate of different sites. A good example here, we can have the changes in the water content of the tissue at the base of the leaf of the Mimosa pudica, resulting in the shrinking and the folding of the leaflet. So even if there is a small change in water content within this organism, specifically Mimosa pudica, they tend to fold up their leaves so that it cannot lose more water, and thereafter it will lead to disappearance of that species, that is Mimosa pudica. So in order to prevent from desiccation is whereby they tend to fold up their leaves where there is a low content of water within a soil. So such response may be due to different stimuli such as light, touch, heat, or electrical shock. So after a suitable recovering period, the leaflet open again. So normally they remain expanded during a day while closer at night. So also you can be asked, why does a Mimosa pudica fold their leaves during a night? While this, we have said that this Mimosa pudica, they respond into the presence of touch. Here I'm telling that this Mimosa pudica, they respond to different kinds of stimuli. For example, here we have a light, we have touch, we have heat, we have electric shock. So due to those stimuli, it can cause water content within it to be low within their roots. So what next now? This plant, they tend up to fold up their leaves during a night. Since during a night, we can say that there is no light, so they tend to close their leaf structure. So naona hapa tumesema kwamba after suitable recovering period, the leaflet open again. So baada ya muda kidogo kupita, with the absence of those stimuli, is whereby the leaves they recovery again, zinarudi tena kwenye its original shape. So tunasema kwamba normally they remain expanded during a day while closed during at night. So tunasema kwamba this organism, specifically Mimosa pudica, they tend to fold up their leaves during a night, while during a day they open their leaves. But in the response of touch, or with the presence of the stimuli, that is the touch or light, or we can say that heat, ndipo ambapo this plant will respond to that stimuli by folding their leaves. So after we have seen now the whole kinds of nastic movement, my student, and this marks the end of our today's session. Thank you for listening, and bye-bye. Have a nice moment.